more likely than not, you are here because you want to know if you can build the body that you want and not just build it, but actually keep it, lean year round without tracking macros or your calories. And in this video, I'm going to answer that question. And a bit of a TLDR, it is possible. In fact, if you look at my videos, I started this channel about a year ago, started posting, you're gonna notice I've always had abs. I've always been lean. And for most of the year, I don't really track my macros or calories. And while I'm not going to say it's impossible to do, like some people are going to have to do it, it's a matter of building up the skill of knowing how to what they call intuitively eat. Everyone's always talking about that they don't need to track macros and calories. They just eat by feel. But if you don't know how to eat by feel, if you don't know what a protein or carb is, don't even try to intuitively eat. You got to start tracking your macros and calories. But the second that you build up that skill over time, you kind of know what your body needs. You'll get these hunger cues and know what to put in your body and know what food is actually right for it and what works with you rather than against you and what amounts to for your goals, whether it's to be in a deficit, whether it's to maintain or be in a caloric surplus to build up muscle and minimize fat. But to get to that point, you first need to build a skill. So I highly, highly recommend you spend 3 to 6 months tracking every single meal that you can. You're gonna have days, you're gonna have nights where you're out, getting some beers, going out to restaurants, eating at a friend's house, your mom cooks for you or whatnot, if you're going back to your parents' house. And you're not gonna know exactly how many grams of carbs and proteins and macros there are in your meals, but you can at least, take the time to estimate. If you download an app like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, the information is there. And estimating is better than just guessing and not, just mindlessly eating and not knowing what you're putting into your body. So the second you build that skill of knowing how much 14 ounces, 16 ounces of ground beef has in protein and fats and calories, and you eat very similar meals and you just know kind of the top of your head, you can kind of put the math together. Okay, my maintenance is, let's say, mine is 3,100, 3,200. I need to get a bigger meal. So I usually eat most of my calories at nighttime, 2,000 calories, which leaves me with 1,200, 1,100 more for either a small snack after dinner or a big lunch beforehand. So that's how I know. And you don't really have to worry about carbs or fats. So that already makes it so much easier when it comes to tracking and building up the skill of being able to intuitively eat. So protein, you don't need to go any more than 1 gram per pound of body weight, right? So if you're like me, 156, 160, don't go, I would say 1 gram per pound of target body weight. So my target body weight's 160 right now for this lean bulk. So 160 grams of protein is really all that I need. Maybe, just maybe, if I do eat less than that, that's okay, because the optimum range is between 0.82 and 1 gram per pound of body weight, depending on your activity status. I'm a very active individual, so I need to be eating and closer to the 1 gram. But for you, if you're doing maybe your 10K steps a day and 3 lifts a week, then it's really not gonna be an issue. You can probably just eat in the 0.82 range and you'll be okay. So for me, that's 135 grams of protein. That's so easy to hit, right? I can probably hit that in one meal if I really wanted to. So as long as you hit your protein goals and your calorie goals, your calorie goal, you find by first finding your maintenance. If you're a moderately active individual, getting your 10K steps a day, getting your lifts in, your maintenance is probably around your body weight times 15. Mine is not that number. I had to figure that out very quickly, that 2,400 is not my maintenance, but for you it could be. So what you can do is, if you're in a deficit, just subtract that number that you get from the formula by, let's say 500 if you want to lose a pound of fat a week. And if you're really overweight, let's say 25% body fat, you can do 750 and lose a pound and a half. I really wouldn't go much over that unless you're really, really overweight, as then it'll be a lot more unsustainable for you. So we want to keep things as sustainable as possible, just so you can actually fall through with this, because the truth is if you can't stick to it for life, you're not gonna be able to have your physique for life. You're not gonna be able to stay lean year round for life. Maybe you'll get to that point eventually, but it won't stick. So if you want it to stick, you got to keep it sustainable, right? Screw all the noise, screw all the celebrity diets and workouts. We're talking about sustainability. You know, that's what my channel is all about. That's what my coaching is all about. So listen, what was I talking about actually? Got a little bit of a tangent right there. But again, when it comes to intuitive eating, you know, you got to build up that skill first. You know, if you want to build muscle, add like 200, 250, maybe up to 300 calories above your maintenance. And that's how you build mostly muscle. You know, you're going to gain like a half pound a week, but that's going to be mostly muscle, not like fat. You know, I made that mistake in the past before with a dirty bulk, going like a 750 calorie surplus and gained mostly fat that I had to cut back. And while it seems like the faster approach to dirty bulk, there's just so much fat you got to cut off. You're going to feel like crap. Your body's going to be all inflamed from all the calories you're eating. And it's just a lot harder than it needs to be. So eating around your maintenance is usually the way to go. 200 calories, 250, 300 for the surplus. And once you get lean, once you get to like the body mass you want, like once I'm done with this lean bulk, I'm going to eat around my maintenance. And just my maintenance, you know, with my active lifestyle, it's higher up. For you, it could be lower, it could be higher, but use that equation, 15 times your body weight, and just eat around there. You know, subtract by your goals and whatnot. And that's how, you know, over time, you're going to know exactly how many calories you need throughout the day, and progress just becomes automatic. And once you get down to your goal target body weight, whether that's in 12 weeks, 24 weeks, then after then, you can go back to your maintenance and, you know, maintain that, stay lean year round. And yeah, and if you want to know how to actually stay lean year round and still have fun and not want to like die, you know, I talked more about that in my previous video. I believe it's called how to get and stay lean year round, lean and muscular year round. I don't know. It's like a 20-minute video of me walking around. Go watch that for a more in-depth video. But pretty much what you need to do is make it sustainable. You know, program it in. Eat with intention, right? So if you want to have drinks throughout the weekend, you can. If you want to have dessert every single night, you can. Just program it in, right? So if you need 2,600 calories a day for your deficit, or 2,400 calories a day for your deficit, what you can then do is just, okay, my dessert's probably gonna be like 560 calories, subtract that. And then for dinner, I'll have this many calories and this much protein, and then you'll be in a great spot. So as long as you're intentional, you can easily make this work with your lifestyle. And overall, to stay lean year round a lot easier, and not just do this aggressive shred only to gain all that weight back, or to get super skinny again if you've been under eating, or just get super fat. Like, we don't want that here. So that's pretty much what I got for you today. Just build up the skill of tracking, 3 to 6 months, however long it takes, until you get very, very comfortable and your weight scale is going the way you want it to go. And every now and then readjust. Like, if you feel like you want to have another goal, get back onto tracking so you know like what foods you need. And life hack, eat similar meals daily so you can kind of get an idea of how many calories is in like each of your meals, right? So daily I'll have like Greek yogurt bowl for post-workout. I might actually start doing that for like a nighttime dessert now and move that there so I can have so I can fast in the morning to focus better on my work. And then, you know, a moderate lunch, I'll do like 4 eggs with 4 things of sourdough and some spinach for digestion. And then for dinner, pound ground beef, like 300, 400 grams of rice, and then like 3 potatoes and a cup and a half of, broccoli. So very, very simple, keeping things simple and similar and familiar. So progress just feels automatic for me. And I don't really have to track as much if I know exactly what that looks like. Sure, I may not be, you know, if I am intuitively eating, sure, it may not be like the proper like macro count and whatnot. I may be a little bit over, a little bit under, but who cares? As long as the weight is going where I want it to go, as long as I'm getting my protein, my calories, that's what matters at the end of the day. And once you build up that skill of being intuitive with your eating through tracking your food, it's a lot easier. So that's what I would recommend for you. You can track your food without tracking your or you can build muscle and you can stay lean year round without tracking your macros and food and whatnot the rest of your life. Just build up the skill first, get it out the way while you can, and then you can live a life where you're intuitively eating, you know, and just eat intentionally too. Don't just graze all day. Don't just undereat or forget to eat. Make your nutrition work with you, all right?